Sam Pounds. How's everybody doing?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, it's good to be with you. So, Sam, we're coming off of a big night last night. What happened?
We celebrated the release of Motives. My debut full length album. It's I've released music in the past, but this is the first full body of work. And we celebrated last night at my release concert, man, and it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. All the people, that's around in the surrounding areas that you love and supporters. It was just a great way to say, hey, we did it. It's out. uh, enjoy it, and let's keep the good times rolling. That's where I'm at with it. I'm so Southern. I'm from Carolina, so I love the hospitality, and I love I want to bring people in. I had my photographer friend and a tattooist because I'm a big fan of tattoo culture, and I got Motives tattooed right here. I still got the so I got it tattooed right here on the bicep right before I got on stage. And so
Yes,
just,
there.
I'm all about memories and like I got this tattoo, the smiley face tattoo, if you can see it. It's a little smiley face from my buddy Teddy Swims because we hung out after a show um back when I was in North Carolina a few months ago. And what Teddy likes to do, he likes to tattoo people. He likes to tattoo his friends after his shows. And I was like, well, I get a tattoo, but I got a little one because I wasn't sure how nice he was. But he was pretty good. So I trust him now. I trust him now. And so
Now you got a
a lot of
guy.
a lot of my friends are involved in the tattoo culture. But anyway, wanting to celebrate that, bring everything in. We launched it, and here we are.
There we are. Well, it's cool. It's funny. Cool. You mentioned tattoos. I mean, creator culture ranges everything. I mean, Sam, I've been blessed to like call you a friend, just watch how hard you work, how prolific you are, how much love you generate when you're in a space, how much love you generate behind the scenes.
Wow, man.
Then there's like tattoo culture, there's the graffiti culture, there's all
Yep.
kinds of creativity out there.
Yep.
One of the things that's so fun, we focus a lot on Gen Z, and one of the things that's so fun about Gen Z is how inspired they are as a creative group of people, how that generation's not really wired all the time to be employees. They're multi hyphenates, right? You're a businessman, you're a musician, you're a creator, you're a community guy, you're an impact guy. I don't even know what labels to put on you. How do you even think about Sam Pounds when you look in the mirror?
I'm from Durham, North Carolina, outside the county line, man. And the way we grew up, in Carolina. We grew up in community. I got a bunch of cousins, aunts, uncles, and that culture. A good singing family on both sides of the family, my mom and my dad's side, and my stepfather's side. And so I grew up with a big family. You talking about my real father who passed when I was 3, but then my stepfather came in. God rest his soul. He passed earlier this year, but he stepped in when I was 5. Then my mother's side of the family, and so I grew up with 3 grandmas, 3 grandpas, uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21 aunts and uncles. So imagine the cousins.
Yeah,
Surrounded.
cousins.
And imagine the family reunions. And so we take that, I take that energy and that hospitality, right? And shout out to Blue Sky. They sent me some clothes, so I appreciate them. Um, that I that has to be translated into music, that has to be translated out in the way I communicate with people. And that's just the way I was brought up. So, I'm not gonna change nothing. It's too late for me to change anything anyway. And I'm gonna continue being that, that family oriented, that family feeling. Because in LA, a lot of people are away from the families, and so everyone has that search of family and unity. And
Yeah.
so I like to bring that to the table wherever I go because you never know who needs that. You never know. We didn't grow up with a big family, and grow up with surrounded by that type of love. Some people grew up isolated. And so I like to bring that familiarity through the music and through the way I communicate and connect with people in person. That's
Yeah.
Sam Pounds, man.
It is. You know, I've noticed a lot of the major creators, people who really reach massive scale, they have a heart for people, like they have a heart for connection, bringing people together, and it's sort of that frequency. Let's actually pause on that because you just mentioned basketball. That runs in the family too, and
Absolutely.
we got a whole initiative called Real Athletes, and I one of the things I love about you, and I think it translates into your career, but
Yeah.
you were a baller, right?
Absolutely. At Barton College, played Division II basketball, won a national championship my freshman year.
Yeah.
Had a really good game against Duke my sophomore year because it was after we won the national championship. We got to play all the D1s that were in North Carolina. So I played against NC State, UNC. I was actually supposed to go to NC State, but Herb Sendek left and went to Arizona State. And so I decided my brother was assistant coaching at Barton College, and I was like, you know what, I just go there. They have a good team, and we ended up winning the national championship. I wanted to, you know, it was no guarantee for me to get playing time after Sidney Lowe came in and replaced Herb Sendek. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna go somewhere where I can play, not sit the bench my whole freshman year. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made, man, because then I got into the audio program there and they had a full old school SSL board. And so for 4 or 5 years, well, 4 summers, I stayed in that studio. And now I turned my house into that. And so basketball and music and entertainment is like this.
Just
And
the
you
intersection of culture.
got to have that competitive edge because you got to understand that within music, you can't give up. You got to fight through. You got to work out the plays. You have to make adjustments in the middle of the game, not leaving the game. You have to pivot and change course. All of those things are extremely important in life. And I think as an artist, I think it's I think every artist should compete or even try to compete and play in competitive sports so they can kind of translate the work ethic and the day to day consistency that you have in the inner push, right? Because you got to push past those nervousness, that nervousness. You got to push past that doubt. You got to push past when you see a 7 footer on the other end. You can't be afraid, and you got to psych yourself out and go get it anyway. So that means you can do the impossible. You got all those things in sports. It translated now. Translates
100%. Well, so
absolutely.
we're gonna take your career because now you're describing the intersection of right before you started getting at the music game, right? Yeah, Sam, you've had some incredible mentors. Do you wanna talk about how you went from, how have you kind of navigated becoming where you're at? And, for those people who haven't heard your music yet, I can't wait for them to hear you. I was privileged. You blew my mind first time I heard you, and it's obvious what's in front of you to all of us, right? But mentorship has been a huge part of your journey.
Absolutely. Uh, two mentors come to mind, and now three. And this was more so mentorship through collaboration because I was at a point in my development in music that I was able to help these guys and help with projects. And so one of them is Jamie Foxx. We've been working together for the past 6 years. I've done and through working together, um, we've worked on let me see, the first Netflix thing was Dead Stop Embarrassing Me. I did his theme song for that. And then the second project was a hip hop family Christmas and a hip hop family wedding that was on VH1 and Paramount. And I did the main title and the closing original for that and we released those songs. And then right after that, we did Day Shift. I did the theme song to the movie Day Shift featuring him and Snoop. And then we did the song Mowing Down Vamps with my best friend Bud, with Dave Franco, Snoop, Megan Good, Jamie, Jay Young, MBK, and the whole entire cast. And so this was back to back to back. And for him to have trusted me with those major projects where I produced, mixed, mastered, wrote, pretty much all in the box, for him to have that much trust in me, it was a launching pad for me, to be honest. You went from, working on pretty cool projects to now on a red carpet with with Snoop, and I'll show you guys a picture that changed my life. This picture right here, if I could scroll down even faster, come on, internet.
Well, while you're pulling it up, one of the short stories I shared with you was I was fortunate enough when I was young in LA to just be sort of friends and familiar with Ryan Tedder's journey. But early on, he was working with, Oakenfeld and Bubba Sparks, and then Timbaland came along, right? And that, Ryan was obviously talented. It would drive me nuts. We'd go to his little shows, and it's like, how is this song "Apologize" not on the radio right now? And it's like,
Right?
and it's like Arizona Rain. It's gonna just
Yeah,
absolutely pop,
absolutely.
and so it's like, and then it's, you're the kind of guy who isn't just connected to those kinds of musicians, but and celebrities, but you also build other people's portfolios too. I see you mentoring and producing, and um, I just think it's so cool. But you want to show that photo?
Yeah, this is the photo. That's
Yeah,
that that's what changed everything. And on that day, there was the day shift movie premiere red carpet. That's me with Jamie, J Young, and MBK, and Snoop Dogg. And in that photo, I produced all three of those guys
yeah,
at the same time for a number one movie for Netflix. I mean, you're talking about a launching pad. Um, and it showed that, look at all that pressure. This is a giant task, but you got to recognize, that you are enough. Yeah, you are enough. Wait, you mean I'm working with Netflix and Jamie and Snoop Dogg and everyone else all at the same time? Yes, because you are enough. You're ready. And that was my I'm ready. And then here lately, I've had the pleasure to work with Diane Warren, and she did my last two singles. And Diane Warren, what I don't think people realize working with a songwriter to that magnitude, first of all, is very hard to come across a songwriter that has that type of catalog and that you can work with one on one in the studio right now. Um, I'll say this thing working with her, I now truly understand what a hit is because the way she works, she impours that talent into you. She impours that know how, that instinct of songwriting into you instantly. And so once you feel her songs and you adapt to her songs, you now feel what it is. And now you can recognize that for the rest of your life because Diane has a songwriting gift that is a gift that keeps giving. She
yeah,
gives you the T code because I recognized it when I saw talk about it in bed last night. This is why you work with the best songwriters in the world. Is because not what it does in the studio, but how it translates with people in
uh,
person. I didn't realize how big that song was until I sung it last night. Huge, huge record. And then it's another song called Blessings that we were going to release it back in January, February, but the fires happened here in LA.
Mm.
yeah,
And the first line of the song was I've been through 100 fires. And we couldn't release it because it was so spot on and Diane Warren's house in Malibu burned down.
yeah,
Yeah.
So we had to pull it back because we didn't want the press to think that we were trying to benefit
Yeah.
from the the tragedy. So just goes to show Diane, she was an amazing mentor when it comes to I was able to produce the record that she sung for myself. It was so amazing. Wow. Mentors are so important, man. And so those are like my top three so far. And
man,
I don't take it for granted. I don't take it lightly. It's insane to even be saying those names. And I
yeah,
moved to LA 6 years ago. I moved to LA 2019. I didn't know none of these people.
yeah.
In
One of the things I love
2019, I
about
got
you,
here in July.
yeah, one of the things I love about you is you're surrounded by incredible, you know, cultural icons, business moguls.
Yeah.
And for you, you show up and just love and drive community and drive creativity. And like, it doesn't phase you who you're with. You are Sam through and through.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
you have to be.
yeah. Yeah, and that's obviously a testament to how you were you mentioned that you're, one of the many things we talked about, your mother was big in mental health. Part of your draw to our work is scaling, solutions for mental health and other solutions for addiction recovery. But um, there was something in the water the way you grew up. What is it?
My grandma Ruth, and I say my grandma Ruth and her cooking, and my grandma Nan, those are my two babies. They're in heaven now. But when I tell you that nurturing, that good grandma nurturing is something different. And it stays with you. It stays with because it teaches you how to love. It teaches you how to operate at a certain frequency of love. And when that frequency operating in that way, I think it was great for me to be a little bit older, mature, before I moved out here to LA because my foundation was established. And so immediately, I feel like Jamie and Snoop, they already knew the language of my foundation. They've been around a lot of people. And so they are able to read instantly who to welcome in and, oh no, that's good. Okay. No, he come from the South. Oh, he's a family. Like I can bring him around family because that's how I treat people like family. And side note, Ted, I just followed you on Instagram. I think I follow everybody else. So
Speaking of
I know you
family.
start following. I'm already a fan. And so just that family thing. I think that's what was in the water, family. Long story short.
Yeah, for sure. Grandmas, I told Mariah the other day, she was a lot like my grandmother, which would have been her great grandmother, and both brain, heart, and love. And Mariah mentioned where she grew up, but the reality is the love that kind of came from that woman and that side of the family poured into an entire generation, even if they grew up in a hard spot. And
Yeah.
I see it in your creativity and the way that you are a colleague just across us and handle things. It's just constantly generative and a frequency, as Sam would say. And Sam, I think with time today, what I'd love to do is we'll do part two. We'll talk about plans for harmonics, plans for the future of music, plans for kind of how social impact in our work with musicians is going to drive change at scale. But it was fun always hanging out with you, man. And
Yes.
yeah. All right. So, hey, Sam, keep us in the loop on how we can help next couple weeks, man. We are grateful to call you a friend, a colleague, a brother, all the things. Thank you for the time today, man.
Say thank you for having me. And I love it. And now I get to follow everybody's journey to start their Instagrams and stuff and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's a family thing. And so I'm excited to continue this journey with you all.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, we launched this week. We're coming.
Let's go.